Hey guys, good morning, or afternoon, or evening, wherever. Good way to start. Hello, welcome back to another episode of the Big Sigh. Yeah, which is a chance for us to just slow down. I guess it's my invitation to you and to myself to really slow down and strip away the mental chatter and just kind of return to the truth of what's going on in my heart. And yeah, I imagine if my head got out of the way, what would my heart want to say? What's the truth of what's actually going on for me? And cat's just chewing on some random leaves. I'm not sure she's going to enjoy that. But anyway, yeah, what's on my heart? What's on your heart? Yeah, maybe just take a moment to have a few breaths and just, yeah, let's just take a big sigh together. So a nice big in-breath. And just let go. Just let go. And just, yeah, my invitation to you is just to check in with yourself about what's actually real for you in this moment. You know, are there some fears going on for you that you don't want to feel? Some uncomfortable sensations in the body? Is there a sense of needing to be somewhere else, or having a to-do list that you need to crack on with, or anything like that? This is just an invitation to just let all that go for just a few minutes and just be with yourself, to slow down. I'm saying at the moment to myself, what's the rush? Because so often there's no need to rush for me. I just got the sense that I need to. This energy of constantly needing to be somewhere else, do something, start something. So yeah, welcome. I noticed that, well, you may notice, if you've been following these videos, that all of a sudden the sound is a little bit different, and I'm very excited because I finally got these guys working. So I've got a little lapel mic tucked away in my scarf here. And yeah, the sound quality is so much better, so I'm really happy about that. But yeah, what's alive for me right now actually is in the pit of my stomach. I've got quite a lot of sort of like, I don't know, what's that phrase, like a rolling stomach or a butterflies in my stomach to some degree, like quite a lot of anxiety. And I know why that is. And that is because yesterday I didn't hand in my notice. I basically asked for a raise at my 0-hour contract job because I realized over the weekend that the rate that I was charging, when you take into account unpaid sick leave, unpaid holiday, tax and all that stuff, it comes out as an equivalent of a rate below the minimum wage. So I've been massively undervaluing my skills, and I'm an experienced, skilled worker, you know, I'm not an entry level. And I've massively been undervaluing myself for a long time. And that's been a whole dynamic of mine for some time now. And I touched upon it in a previous video. I've realized that underneath it all, there's this sense, and I don't know where it comes from, but in this human experience, I seem to have picked up this idea that I don't deserve, or I'm unworthy of, receiving an abundance, you know, and actually receiving what is fair and what I'm worth. And I sent a big email to my boss yesterday saying, suggesting a new rate, which was a reasonable step up. It wasn't crazy, but still like swimming in the small pond. And he came back and just said, I can't afford that. Good luck, kind of thing. So, but he did say, like, give us a notice period, and I'd appreciate if we could help with the transition, and there's ad hoc work available if you want it. So it's not complete, like, oh my God, I've just lost my job kind of thing. But yeah, it's really given me a bit of a kick up the arse, and it feels like something's shifted. And I've just been observing what's been occurring to me in response to this whole thing. And there's lots of different parts, and I find them all quite interesting. The first response to reading his email, well, I guess the initial response was defensiveness and like a feeling of like, that's not fair. But that actually didn't stick around too long. I think I sort of got into quite a compassionate space towards my boss, even though some of the things that he said were really, really fair. There were a few things that I felt like weren't actually true. Maybe those are the things that I was reacting to. But I got into I sort of, took a step back and realized that what he said was fair, and realized that this is a massive opportunity for me. And then what came was this sense of excitement. I've been in this job for over 2 years now, and it's been low paid, and I've known that. And in my head, it's been one of those, it was a job that came up at the perfect time as a previous job was coming to an end. And I thought, okay, great. This will tide me over until I find a job that I'm really happy with. But inevitably, 2 years later, here I am, still on this crappy wage. And I've fallen into that like uncomfortableness, if you know what I mean. Just sort of going along with what's there because change feels scary and stepping out of there feels scary. But this idea, I'm just excited because I've lived with this sense of like, there's a life out there and there's an adventure out there for me to experience. And I'm just sat here in this, I work in an art gallery. It's very lovely. And some people would jump at the chance to work at an art gallery. But for me, it's quite soul destroying in some ways, or it just doesn't feed my soul at all. And that's something that I've struggled with for a while. This sense of not living up to my potential or lack of fulfillment. I guess it's that suffering of imagining that there's something else out there. FOMO kind of vibes. But yeah, it really doesn't light me up. It's not my passion. I want something different. I want to start following the things that I really care about. And that it was an exciting prospect because in a way, it's quite easy to just carry on doing the same old shit, just because it's comfortable. And I feel like this was the kick that I needed, or that I still need, to get me out of that, like just going along with it because it's comfortable. Maybe I wouldn't do it if I didn't have a kick. So all of a sudden it's forcing me to be like, right, okay, let's actually do the stuff that I want to do. All too easy to just let life just carry on, and be discontent. The only thing that's going to change that is if I actually make changes. So that's really exciting. I'm excited for the potential of what could come. Obviously, there's also other parts as well. So I'm quite scared right now. I'm scared of the fact that I have no idea what I'm going to do next. That sense of the unknown and that lack of control is really scary. And maybe that's the fear that's probably kept me in this job for so long and in this house that I'm living in for so long. It's that fear of the unknown, I feel like, is quite a universal one. And it also links with what I'm going to say in these videos. I have quite a lot of fear every morning before preparing for these videos or doing the setup, or as soon as I wake up, I notice like my mind starts trying to plan what I'm going to say and have some sort of control, but it seems scary to not plan or rehearse anything that I'm going to say. Because I don't know what's going to come out. It could be really embarrassing. It could be really stupid, but literally the task I've given myself is to press record. No, I don't get any extra takes. It's just whatever comes, right? And I'm not allowed to plan stuff, although my brain does do that sometimes. And this is just what I'm trying. I have no idea what it'll, I don't know if this will connect with people or anything like that, but this is what I'm doing for myself. And yeah, that's scary. But I guess each time I lean into surrendering into the unknown, surrendering into these, like the more I've done these videos, continue to use this example, the more comfortable I notice myself becoming each time, because I'm like, oh, do you know what? Yeah, that was quite interesting, and that had some value to it, what I was saying in that video. So, and that fear just diminishes a little bit each time, right? Just doing it and doing it and doing it. And soon they'll get to a point where, yeah, there's not much, I just don't notice much fear come up, and I just do it, I'm sure. Yeah, maybe you can't do that with jobs. Maybe there's not so many, unless you're literally flitting from one job to another, just quitting a job without another job lined up. Yeah, it's scary. It's scary because I guess there's a real deadline there as well. Although I've got some time to sort of tide me over, which is good. But now I have to find a job because I need to pay my rent. And yeah, there's a timeline, and money has been a stress for me for a long time. So that feels quite real. And I'm also scared. Like, the truth is, I'm scared of how employable I am. I know that I have great skills. I'm a good worker. I'm responsible, but also I think one of the big fears that keeps coming up is this health issue that I have, and how sometimes disabling it is, and who's going to want to take me on if I've got this health thing. And also, I don't want to get trapped in a situation where I have to do all these jobs and have all these responsibilities, but my physical health sort of, or I have to work through the pain or through the discomfort and start behaving in ways that are really not good for my health or for my body. So yeah, I'm nervous about that. I really am. Caught in this cycle, but I am also in this sense. I've got this sense that actually something's changed, something's shifted. I think it's come along with this realization that I feel like I've not been deserving, like, money, or just deserving to receive in general. And in some ways there's been this idea, I think, this undercurrent of like, I don't deserve to heal, which is really interesting. I think that that's definitely an unconscious force that has been, communicating to my body that you can't heal. And my mindset has really shifted. And now I really do believe that I'm going to heal. And I don't know how long it's going to take, but I feel like I've turned the corner, and that is purely psychosomatic, that's purely psychological at this stage. But it's just a belief, and maybe that's mental. And there's maybe some people out there, you might watch this and think that's mental. I am trying to do all the things, all the been to the doctors. It's a shift of mentality and attitude. I have been quite resistant going to the doctors in the past, but now as soon as I had this realization, I went straight to the doctors. I booked all the tests I could, and I was really like rigorous about it and assertive. So yeah, it's an energetic shift. So my point being, going off on a ramble, my point being is, although I'm nervous about this whole dynamic between the job and my health and all that stuff, I have a sense that I'll be able to make it work. I don't know what's coming, but I think that's the nature of this life, right? And I think because the reality is we're just in this present, perfectly unfolding process all the time. I've touched upon this before, but we're here in this present moment, right? And I have no clue or control over the vast, vast majority of what's going to happen, right? I have no idea. Like I think I said this in a previous video. I don't know that this sofa's going to hold me. It may just collapse, but I trust that it will hold me. But yeah, it requires me to trust. But I don't actually know. And I guess the mind and the ego, part of that is to want stability, to create identities that we can cling on to that are stable. Because when we don't have control or certainty, then I guess there's more of a risk that we might die. Maybe that's what the thing is underneath it. Not sure. But either way, feeling out of control is a really scary concept for lots of us. And a big part of the practice, I guess that's what's amazing about spirituality and developing our spirituality is really coming to understand and trust in our future selves or whatever it is. And I think on the flip side of that, yes, it's trusting that we're going to be okay whatever happens. And maybe that's trusting in a God that's guiding you, or that's trusting in yourself in the future. That's trusting in your peers, like whatever sort of God is to you. That might be the Tao. I'd probably say that the Tao is the closest thing that I would call that. But on the flip side of that, it's just a dismantling of the fear of not having control, right? I think, or maybe that's the result of trust, is that the fear diminishes. And from that place of a lack of fear or a diminished amount of fear, we can really operate to our full potential. So that's how spirituality, a spiritual lens, has really served me. I mean, it served me in so many ways, but it's reducing my fear. And despite having no clue about what I'm going to do next, I'm quietly confident, or I just sort of have this faith that it's going to be all right. You know, whatever happens. And I'm probably going to look back on this being like, oh yeah, that was a bit of a scary period, but now look at my life, you know? It's all meant to be. And it's almost like since that shift I mentioned about feeling self-worth, essentially, like feeling like I have this human being, this sacred human being to take care of. So now I'm not going to accept anything less than what I'm worth. Things have just happened. Like it's like my life is shifting and the universe is shifting in alignment with that energy. You know, I'm giving out the message to the universe that I'm worthy and deserving of receiving what I deserve. I'm worthy to receive what I deserve. And I'm ready. I'm willing and open. And yeah, things are going on in the background. That's how it feels anyway. So, yeah. But it is scary. I'm not going to lie, of course. Of course it is. And I'm nervous about, this was all done over email yesterday. I'm nervous about having that awkward conversation with my boss today, but also feeling quite resolute and not feeling resentful towards him. It's just the situation, you know, it is what it is. So yeah, that's what's alive in me, and that's really present with me right now. And in a way, I'm proud of myself, and I feel stuff's happening, you know, it is exciting. Yeah. So that's what's going on in my life right now. I'm sure I will let you know how it all progresses. But I guess there's an offer in here, which is to say, how is the fear of the unknown showing up in your life for you? You know, what elements are you sort of unconsciously afraid of, maybe, because, and what things are you staying in because you're just comfortable in them, and you're not leaving them because you're scared, because you don't know what you do without it, or you don't know the next step. And yeah, maybe just reflect. It might be useful to just reflect on that. It's just an invitation, an idea that's just occurred to me. And I guess fundamentally behind that, the reason why it's exciting for me is because I do desire things. I do want things, you know. I feel like I'm wasting my life force, my life energy, by being in this job that is actually draining my life. And I want to, I've got a mission, and it feels like in some ways it has served the mission, you know, but in other ways it feels like, come on, just get on with it. And I think now is the time to get on with it and really make something happen. I'm not sure, again, I don't know how it's all going to unfold, but I've got this intention now. And yeah, actually that's just reminded me of another fear that I have, which is around working for someone else. I really want to explore and think about this in a bit more deeply. Like, why have I just dread the idea of working for another employer. And there's part of me that thinks, right, okay, I need to think of every single form of income that I can make off my own back, you know, that matters to me, and just absolutely go hell for leather for it. Because, yeah, it's so rewarding. I found it so rewarding creating a project. So I haven't mentioned it yet, but although I'm taking a pause on it at the moment because my health became so extreme and I experienced burnout, but I run a music community in London called the Full Joy Community. Yeah, if you're ever London way, and you fancy a beautiful, accessible music jam or a choir workshop or anything like that, then hit me up. Yeah, the Instagram is Full Joy Community, so do check it out. But yeah, it's just so fulfilling doing that work, and it feels meaningful and it feels real. You know, it's not just trying to make money. It's actually like helping people. I'm in service, and that feels so good. I'm really helping people to express themselves, to find their voice, and to heal in many ways. And sometimes these jams they're like ceremonies, really, and they're so powerful. Like, people really process a lot of stuff there, and I just feel like that feels so nourishing to my soul. And having tasted that and building my own thing and contributing and serving in that way, it just feels like, I mean, it's that part of life where you just have to make sacrifices to earn money and do whatever, right? But it's just so unfulfilling in comparison, working at the art gallery to doing facilitating my own music events that are really meaningful for people and for myself. So it's been hard since I started doing those events, basically, particularly hard since I started doing those events. And now I don't really want to work for anyone else. And I'm scared of that idea. I don't know, maybe it's not meeting my need for autonomy and choice, freedom. And yeah, I'm on Project Freedom at the moment. So trying to free up my time, free up a bit more money. I don't really mind how I do it. I'm thinking about moving into a narrowboat potentially, which is exciting, but that's a vague plan of mine. I don't know if that will happen, but ultimately I don't mind if it's a narrowboat or a van or whatever form it is, just a cheaper way of living. So I can build a life for myself. Because now I'm worth it. You know, such a big lesson, such a big breakthrough. It feels massive. So yeah, that's what's going on for me at the moment in life. I hope it's worth listening to. I'm noticing more and more how that I've got a real dynamic of part of my stuff is worrying about, like, banging on about myself a lot, and that shows up in so many different areas. Like, I've got such a fear about people imagining that I'm just like, me, look at me. And there is this part of me that loves being the center of attention sometimes. And that's the truth, right? This sacred human loves to be the center of attention sometimes. And I've beat myself up for that for many years, but actually that's totally okay. And it's not the whole story. It's just a part, you know, that doesn't disregard my genuine care and concern for the well-being of others. God, I care so deeply about other people and their well-being. It really matters to me. It's a need. I mean, I think it's a human need that we all share for the well-being of others. I'm a big fan of nonviolent communication, NVC, and in NVC, all of there's this idea that we all have these shared universal human needs, and they all are about ourselves, apart from the one human need that is the well-being of others. Yeah, and I really care about other people's needs, and I really want to help people in real ways and in ways I can. So yeah, there's all these different parts, and sometimes I'm really harsh towards that inner child, really, that part that wants to shine and that wants to be the center of attention and that wants to receive praise. You know, it comes from such a sweet, sweet place, and I do have a very delightful, tender, gentle, sensitive, fun character inner child in me, a very sacred inner child who, I'm learning to bring more and more kindness to, as this life goes on and I learn and grow. So yeah, it's been life-changing for me, you know, bringing kindness to as many aspects of myself as I can, even though, despite thinking in the past that I don't deserve kindness for this and that. And that's been, yeah, again, I've mentioned this before, but it's so healing. So another question that might be useful to ponder on is what can I bring kindness to in myself today that I don't usually? What can I allow and accept in myself that I don't usually allow and accept in myself? What am I embarrassed about in myself? Can I bring an allowance to that thing? But also, can I bring the big, trick for me that really helped was, can I also bring allowance and love to the part of me that is embarrassed by that as well? Because they're just different. They all need acceptance and love, and it's all part of this big human experience, you know? And maybe what might help, what might help is just to do a big sigh and just to do that whole, okay, I give up pretending, I give up fighting, I give up trying to be perfect, I give up trying to not have this thing, I give up denying that this thing exists within me. And yeah, the reality is I'm scared. The reality is that I do this thing that's kind of embarrassing. The reality is that I have this thing in me that society deems to be undesirable. And that's okay. That makes you human. And we all have stuff. Not a single human being lives up to how society expects us to be. A very specific set of rules about how we should be, and we're all unique and different, and it's the chances that someone actually aligns with that image, no matter what the society is and what those sets of beliefs are, it's very unlikely. It's pretty much impossible, I would say. So yeah, can we welcome in more of our humanness? Can we allow space? It's what this is all about, allowing space for our realness, for what's actually real in us. And I will say this over and over again, because that's what it's about. The ultimate sigh for me is such a beautiful film. Don't Look Up. I don't know if you've seen it. It's a very frustrating film as well, having related to a lot of their experience in that film. But that scene at the end where they realised that, spoiler alert, by the way, that the asteroid's going to hit, and there's this sort of family and friends sat around the dinner table together, and I forget the exact script or anything, but they're basically just there being like, they've all sort of wronged each other, you know, they've all got these they've been holding these issues and grudges and all this kind of stuff towards each other for the things that they've done and for the life that they've lived. And there's this just beautiful moment of just being like, God, at the end of it all, I forgive you. And then they just have this conversation that is so beautiful. They know that they're all about to die and there's nothing that they can do about it. And it's just love, you know, it's just love, and it's funny. It's laughter, and all the bullshit is just wiped away in that moment and in that conversation, and they're just really real, and they're just in their hearts. And I always remember that. That's had a big impact on me, and that's sort of, yeah, I'm sure that's fed into the idea that I have here about what this is about, the big sigh, you know. So there are some invitations to take away from today's video. As always, sending you guys so much love and gratitude for watching this whole video. Again, more of my rants and ramblings. Thank you for staying on for this long. I feel like these are very different videos compared to what YouTube encourages and what is traditional on YouTube. They're not like snappy, action-packed, and I'm not editing them for a reason. I'm literally, they're as raw as can be, so that it can be human as possible, you know. So in a way, it's trying to fight against this pristine, polished, not very human sort of society in many ways that we have, which is often reflected on YouTube. So yeah, thank you. Please do the normal things that I would love it if you could subscribe, like, and share, comment these videos, because yeah, of course, I would love these to reach as many people as possible and connect with as many people as possible, and hopefully, you know, support as many people as possible. And if you want to get in touch with me, as always, please reach out. I'll leave my Instagram linked below. I'd love to hear from you, and yeah, understand what's going on in your lives, and create a space maybe in the comments section to share realness. I know that can be quite scary to do in public, and this feels scary because I really feel like I'm putting myself out there a lot by doing this. But yeah, I want to help give people permission to do that and create a space for people to do that. So yeah, if you'd like to share in the comments things that are going on for you, I really celebrate you, because it's not easy saying real stuff in the most public forum that you could possibly imagine. But you might be surprised with the response. I would suspect, if you lean into being vulnerable and real. On the whole, I think most people are good. You know, that they're kind. I think we do have a compassionate nature to us underneath it all, but you get trolls too. So that's the scary bit, and that's the bit I haven't actually had to deal with yet. Like I said yesterday, the real test is going to come when I actually post these videos. I'm recording 30 and then posting them after that. So yeah, we'll see how that goes for me, and maybe that's really difficult, and so, because I find those comments painful and hurtful and difficult to handle. But if you do, celebrating you, good for you. That is literally such a brave thing to do. So yeah, thank you, and I'll leave it there. I'm a real talker. I could go on for hours doing this, but yeah, I'll leave it there, and sending you all so much love. And I will see you in the next video. And yeah, just good luck on your very human journey, and happy humaning. Still warm.